All right, today we are going to show you guys how we install one of our Solar Hawk 110 watt solar panels that's built specifically for the iCamper. We've got an iCamper 3.0 Rocky unit. This is the textured unit. The Solar Hawks do work with the textured unit. We get that quite a bit. So we're gonna go over a couple things. First things first, Jason went ahead and did a good job of cleaning up the solar ridge here with some alcohol. Obviously, we took a brush and then some alcohol. You want to make sure that that is very clean. So if it is a used unit, you're going to want to run your unit through your normal washing cycle, and then take a bottle of alcohol and really rub that down. Same goes with the glossy units, because that's going to be key. On this particular unit, you'll notice we have the cord sticking out the front. That's a particular setup that we're doing. I think most applications have the cord sticking out the rear, but you can choose. It's entirely up to you. We're going to run it down the front, because we're going to run this down a Lightner bed rack system and into the bed of the truck, and it just seems a little cleaner. The next thing that we generally do is we kind of measure and tape off exactly where we're going to want the panel. So Jason's doing that right now. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just holding this corner here to make sure that we got it lined up. You want to obviously make it even to the edges. You also you have some flexibility in terms of forward and back. You don't want the panel coming too far over the edge. The panel is flexible, but you don't want to stress the adhesive anymore along this edge. Another thing that you'll notice is we're doing this outside, right? So it's a nice hot day for us here. It does help, especially on the Rocky units, to have the tent warm up a bit. And the same thing with the panel. A lot of times we'll flip the panel over upside down so that the adhesive on the back, particularly the butyl adhesive, there's two adhesives. There's a VHB tape around the perimeter, and then there's a butyl adhesive in the center. Butyl tape gets warmer. It just tends to stick, and the application tends to be a little better. If you don't have a warm, sunny day, you can use a heat gun and really kind of heat up your tent, and same with the panel. So that's just a nice tip to really kind of help get the panel to stick the way you want to. All right, so we're going to flip this panel over. We're going to start by peeling an end of the panel. So we're going to peel the VHB tape off. You'll notice Jason has ripped off a little piece of the VHB tape, and he's put it on each of the corners. That allows you to grab the panel to flip it back over. Otherwise, you're going to be grabbing the actual VHB tape, which obviously you don't want to do with your bare hands, particularly if they're dirty. So we're going to peel some of that back. Other side. Jason's then going to pool the butyl as well, right? So same idea. Hopefully at this point it's a little bit warm and sticky. We're going to flip it over. So I'm going to go ahead and set my side. So Jason's going to keep his side pulled up so that's not sticking to anything. We've got our tape markers. I'm going to hold it best I can here. Give me a sec, Jason. Get the visual look. So I've got it on our place here. I think that looks pretty, hang on. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good. So Jason's going to stick that then, and immediately pull the little pieces on his end. Then we're going to come over here and bend up the pieces. That's good. A little bit more on the needle. I'm going to grab the VHB and the butyl. Hopefully at this point, kind of the trajectory of the holing is set. So Jason's going to set that down.
Same thing over here. Set those corners so you have somewhere to grab. Get rid of the rest. And then as I bring this over, I'm pressing the section that's touching the lid. And you can see it landed perfectly. Peel out those corners. Peel off the blue tape before the corner is fully set.
So a couple things about the panel specifically. So unlike a lot of the other panels that we've seen come out into the marketplace since we came out with the Solar Hawk, is this panel is still a monocrystalline panel, right? So the cells are still monocrystalline panel cells. That's what you would find in a lot of the more traditional hard shell panels. These are not SIG cells. What that does is they're very robust. They can take a good amount of abuse. We've had them on iCampers where the iCampers have big scrape marks from going under trees, etc. The panels hold up really well. The other thing is the panels are not susceptible to any sort of water damage. They're not that water sensitive, right? So some of the other panels you see out there, particularly running the SIG cells, if they get water penetration, they are going to, they're just going to stop working. Low light is where I really see these panels perform well. It can be a cloudy day and you're going to still get a good amount of power out of the Solar Hawk. So really awesome. The guys over at Merlin have done a really good job. They're based out of San Jose, in fact, right by our Fremont shop up in the Bay Area. So a couple of just key points that does set this apart. And again, the 23.5% efficiency rating is why you can get 110 watts on this. A couple other things I will note: we do get a lot of questions asking if you can add multiple panels. We don't recommend it. The fit is just shy of exactly where of the curvature of the tent. To get it to really stick the way we have this one sticking, we're really stuck to one. Again, with 110 watts, it gives you a good amount of power. So we rarely find the need that we need 2 more of these, right? Bring out your special tool. So it is, we use this, I don't even know what it is, special roller tool. Butyl roller. If you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. You can usually use like soft cloth or something, but what we use it for is to really kind of roll down these edges, right? And it really kind of helps get that VHB to stick. Another tip again here is the heat gun. The VHB does react to heat, so if you take a heat gun and you blow hot air kind of into this edge, it'll activate some of that adhesive and it'll get you a better bond.
You'll notice I'm not rolling the middle of the panel. The butyl in the middle of the panel will self-adhere in the heat of the day, but the VHB does need to be pressed on. You also don't want to damage the solar cells.
So that's pretty much it. That gives you 110 watts of power on top of your iCamper. Merlin panels, they're awesome. 22.5% efficiency, 23.5% efficiency. This is a 110 watt panel in a relatively small space on the raised section of an iCamper, hence the name, the Solar Hawk. If you got more questions, reach out or visit our website. Thanks, guys. A real quick note, all the Solar Hawks come with a 36-inch cable and an Anderson SB50 connection. Now, this is just a positive and negative wire. If you've got a different kind of connector going into your charge controller, you can literally just cut this or pull the plug. It's that simple, positive, negative, right? Depending on the application, we'll do just that. Sometimes we put in a jumper cable, mount this plug to on the side of the tent so that it's a quick disconnect. Sometimes we hard mount it. Sometimes we add an 8mm connector for something like a Jackery unit. So that is the end of the cable. If you have questions in terms of, hey, how do I connect this to my charge controller, you can let us know. One thing to note is you do want to use an MPPT charge controller. The VOC, the voltage open current on this panel, is fairly high, so you want to check the input ratings of whatever charge controller that you're using and make sure that the VOC is not higher on the panel than your charge controller. Again, if you've got questions, you can reach out. So just wanted to show you that as well.